Hey, everybody. It is Candelanice, and welcome to Remixing Relationships. I'm not sure what happened to my background, but we're going to get it going. I hope everybody had an amazing day today. Thus far, we are going to, I'm not sure what's happening. All right, but we're going to keep it pushing. We are going to talk to an amazing couple today about remixing their relationships. It's about in sickness and in health. In sickness and in health. What do we mean by that? Well, we're going to find out because it's a vow, right? And people say this vow every single time they get married. But what happens when they're challenged with in sickness and in health? Do they know what that means? Do they know how that feels? Or is it something they're just saying because they expect one another to be healthy? These are the things we're going to talk about. But remixing relationships is all about promoting healthy relationships. I'm not sure what happened to my background, but we're going to figure this thing out. That's a first. Hold up. Let me make sure, because I need y'all to see what y'all watching with the peoples. Let's see. Not sure what's happening. This is a first, but we'll figure it out. We are live. I'm not sure what's going on here, but we're going to talk to this couple, James and Vinique White. They have been married. I'm looking at them backstage. Why y'all looking at each other like y'all love each other or something? They have been together. Well, let me say they're like my brother and sister. They have been together. They've known each other since 2008. They got married April 2019. So their anniversary is almost here, right? And we're going to find out how they met. We're going to get into some great things. But remixing relationship is promoting healthy relationships and doing things differently. It's so important to me that we learn how to remix relationships and do it differently. I'm going to continue to say that because it's about this is a place where we dive deep into the art of creating sustainable and healthy relationships. Together, we will explore perspectives and strategies to transform relationships, whether you're looking to strengthen, heal, or completely remix your relationships. You are in the right place. And it doesn't matter. Some of you may be saying, well, I'm not in a relationship, or, I don't have a relationship. I'm not looking for one. I'm looking for one and can't find one. This is where you go. This is the tool. These are the tools that you need. And we're going to hear from a couple. So are you ready, James and Vinique White? And I'll work on the background. I don't know what's going on, but let's go. The party keeps going. Hey.
Hey,
How are you?
hey. How you been?
I'm good. I
Hanging
don't
in
know what
there,
my back.
hanging in there.
There
It
we
was
go.
just
Wait.
there. There we
I
go.
know. We was there.
I
Okay,
don't know what that
boom.
thing is in the corner, but I see a background.
But that's the thing. We can't. We gotta have y'all right too. Now we can't just be having no any kind of way. So I don't know what was happening. So I was trying to focus on my intro and trying to get that there. But most importantly, is I'm happy to see your face. How y'all doing?
Great, blessed,
Y'all good?
highly favored.
Highly favored.
Yes, ma'am.
The last time, well, let me talk about how we met. So I know we met through our sister Basine Hedgeman, and I didn't tell
Mhm.
her that y'all was going to be on. It's been a
Well,
crazy
she
day.
knows now because we was on the prayer call 8 o'clock. And when
Yeah,
I said that we was going to be on here, I just happened to look and saw her name. I was like, okay, so she know we on here now, so she may jump on. I don't know, but she
right. And
does know.
I think she is, because I was like, how did I not tell her? She knows she watches the show every week. So it would have been a surprise, but she would have seen y'all. But I met you guys through her. I'm trying to think if the first time I met y'all was at the Haddons. Was I think it was
No,
at the
it
Haddons.
was at no, it was at Bishop and Pastor Anita's rekindle flame at their
Yes,
cookout at their house.
yes, and I don't know why I keep thinking the Haddons did that, but yes, absolutely, that was at the house. That's where I met y'all, heard y'all story, your love story, and I want everyone to hear your love story too. So before we get into the topic in sickness and in health, So some people remix that to fit what they need it to fit, and every relationship is an individual relationship. But that is a part of the vows, as I was saying in the beginning, that most people just say, and they're not thinking that they're going to experience that. But I know both of you experienced it with each other as far as sickness and met. We're going to start there. And welcome in everybody and tell a friend. Make sure you share this out
Okay, wait a minute. So now,
because it's about promoting healthy relationships, and that's what we're about. So we want to hear the journey of
wait a
Vinique
minute. Now
and
okay, here
James
we go. I
White.
couldn't see you. Can you hear me? All
Yes.
right. So, you go first. I go first. Well, we had initially met overline in 2008. Uh, and me being the person that I was at the time, I looked at my then friend as, okay, society's gonna look at us strange. I got you by a whole foot. So I'm not gonna deal with that. Let me just stray away. Hey sis, that's his sister, Juanita. So I strayed away from him. I was just like, we can be friends,
Oh,
but
so
nothing
we
else is
gotta
gonna come out
so
of
we gotta
this.
pause first. Wait a minute. Vanique, we got to pause first because we got to address that. You said he's a foot. See, people like people that know you know, but if somebody is
Mm-hmm.
watching this, they'd be like, "Well, what does she mean?" So we got to dial it back just a little bit.
Okay, so I'm gonna dial it back. My husband is considered a little person. So I have him by a whole foot. I'm 5'6", he's 4'6" without shoes. So to me, that was looking at society like they're gonna shame us. They're gonna look at me strange because I was used to a man being taller than me, him being behind me. So it kind of threw me off, and I was like, So I left him alone. We became good friends. I went and married someone else. He continued
Mm-hmm.
to, say hi to me, check on me, say how I was doing the whole nine. In December of 2016, my second husband and I got divorced, and I became
Mm-hmm.
sick right after that, literally right after that, and ended up with a big hole in the bottom of my stomach because I had an infection, a bump, a cyst, or something popped on the inside, and they had to open me up to get it out, and they left me wide open, and I felt like could nobody help me, and I was like, God, I can't do this by myself, and I knew I had to go home, but James and our daughter came to me in the hospital, and he said, "I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you said because that to me to this day is just like, okay, God, wow." It was spontaneous. Like, okay, I'm gonna be here, and I'm not gonna go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So piggyback on what she was saying, I went to visit her in the hospital, and she went through the steps of what happened with her surgery. And um, I spoke to the doctors, and they said that the way her stomach is going to have to heal, the way the surgery is going to have to heal, it has to be open, and it has to heal from the inside out. So basically, it gets covered, but previous times you have to keep it open. So I said, okay, I'm gonna make a deal with you. I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna help you heal, and we're gonna take it from there. So we worked on healing, and then after the healing, we worked on us, and we made a commitment that if we're going to stay, we're going to do this together. If you don't feel that it's not to be, we can go our separate ways. But I said, but God told me to stay. And when he brought me in, I have no way to go out. So I've been with her ever since, even through her second surgery before the marriage. So she had two surgeries before the
So you
marriage.
came sickness. You weren't even married, but you came in sickness.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Vinique, let me ask you, with your husband being a wow. So let me ask you, with your husband being a little person, um, what was, I know you said you didn't want to be laughed at, you didn't want people to say you're used to a tall man, like you said, standing behind you. Other than what people may say, what was your apprehension? And did you ever consider, like, no, I'm not going to be with you in that way because of his vertically challenged self?
No, because at the beginning, yes, but after I really started being around James and really gotten to know him per se, he may be little in stature, but he has a huge heart. He
Mhm.
will give you the shirt off of his
Mhm.
back, and
Mhm.
anytime he can stop his schedule to pack me with whatever he had to pack me because I couldn't see my stomach. So I couldn't do it because I'm a big girl. So I couldn't see under there where they did it at because it was literally near the pubic line. So I couldn't see it because I got the fold. So he had to lay me down to do all that. So I couldn't do it myself. And the people that I was around, I know they probably couldn't do it. So when God brought him to me to do that, I was like, okay, you know what? The heck with your height. It's your heart. You have
Mm.
a heart of gold. So I'm not gonna look
Mhm.
at that. And people laugh at us because we'll make jokes about each other. And they be like, why did you say that? Okay, if we can't laugh at each other, then I don't want you to laugh at us. Let us do it first. And we joke
Mm.
all the time, and people look at us, and I'm like, what? That's just how we are. We've learned to
What,
cope with
laughing
it.
at your height, laughing at your height,
Uh-huh.
laughing at his
No,
height?
just laughing, period. We'll make a joke. I said, all right, little man, get on my face. And he'll be like, you get on my nerves. I'm like, yeah, you get on mine too. And we'll laugh. And we'll laugh so hard to where we'll be crying because we're laughing at each other. And his
Yeah.
nephew had made a joke at the wedding saying, you two are made for each other. Y'all were made for each other. Y'all complete each other. And
Mhm.
that's how we've been doing. We've been completing each other's sentences, completing each other's laughters. It's like we became the best of friends.
Right.
And
And
a lot of
and
people don't
so
realize that when you're in marriages, that's what the foundation should be: communication, and you should be friends first.
yes, and laughter. Laughter is medicine
Mm-hmm.
for the soul 100%. The Bible talks about laughter often. So you met in 2008.
Yes.
So you were just friends. You both were married at that time, or you just Vinique?
Mm-hmm. I was in the process. No, I hadn't even. I was waiting for my first husband for us to divorce.
Mhm.
James is my third.
Okay. Yeah. And the best.
So in 2018, I was separated from the first husband, waiting for the divorce to go through.
Got it. Got it. So, James, what was it about Vinique that you were willing to go the extra mile? And at that point, she was like, "I don't know if I'm trying to be with you, and the height difference is a problem, and I don't want people to take us as a joke." You know what I mean? So, what was it about Vinique where you said, "You know what? I'm gonna come in sickness and in health before we even get married?" Because then once you got married, you were still there for her. I've seen plenty of the posts. She's in the hospital, dealing with the things that she's dealing with. And I'll let you discuss that if you want. But what was it that made you want to say, you know what, I'm going to help her and I'm going to stay with her and I'm going to marry that woman? What was it about Vinique that had you thinking that when you came in just service mode?
Well, from the beginning, I
Get
had to
closer.
I had to get to the point to let her know what you see on the outside. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
let you know what that is. I said it's a condition called dwarfism, and people of my stature, we don't like to be called the M word. It is
Mm-hmm.
very defensive to us.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her from A to Z who I am, what I am, and what I'm going to be, and
Right.
she understood.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, we got that down pat, and then um, with the healing process, I seen a lot of wounds, but nothing similar to what she was going through, and it was new to me. And I was like, just asking God to be my hands, and as well as I do this process for her, because it is you that brought me to her, and I want the 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 spirit of you to go through me to her, and it's been like that ever since. When things go wrong, I stop and ask God, help me go through this, because times when I get to a stop sign, can't do nothing without him. So I I proceed because he asked me to, and I don't stop and I don't take a different direction. So it was challenging because it's like starting over. When God gives you something and you starting from the beginning, and if it's a gift from him, you want to keep going with it, because if you look back and it's like we got this far and we got a road ahead of us, and God is with us, who's going to stand before us? So we're going to keep going. And it doesn't hurt, but it's like, you can't do nothing but thank him, because the gift that he's given you, it's amazing.
Yes. That
But
marriage and that love and being obedient. If God said this is your person.
yeah,
When he told you, Vinique, that you were his person, what did you think? That God told
All
him
right.
that you were his person.
I looked at James and said, he said, what? James said, he said, now she's ready. You can go ahead for her. And I was like, okay, what did I have to go through? But okay. Then after he really broke it down to me, was years later after we got married and everything. He broke it down. I was like, oh, okay. So you had to wait. So he was pruning me for you. I said, okay. So when I was going to try it back then, that means neither one of us was ready. We had to go through, do the flips and the hurdles and stuff that we had to go through to get where we are now. There may be some people who don't agree. That's fine.
that's them.
I know there's people that probably don't agree, but that's fine.
Don't agree with what? Don't agree with what?
Just don't agree. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Don't agree with you two being together. Is that what you're saying? Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
So so to fast forward, I've had two stomach surgeries. I've had infertigo, which is almost like what you call it? The almost like chicken pox, but it's a skin infection. That little pus bumps come all over your body. It's almost like that. The chicken pox. What's the other one you give me 50 and over? I'm not 50 yet, but they say shingles. It reminds me of shingles, but it's called infertigo. And they're little bumps that pop all over your body, and your clothes hurts. It hurts to touch. It hurts to even people just to touch your arm. It just hurts. I went through that. I went through the 2 stomach surgeries. I went through.
So this is all while you're married. This is where while you're married.
The first stomach was before we got married.
Okay,
the
so
second
then you
one was during the marriage. Then the 2 heart attacks. The infertigo was before the marriage, and the 2 strokes. And they don't know when those happen.
2 heart attacks and 2 strokes. My God.
So when I say in sickness and in health, in sickness and in health.
James, so what makes you stick and stay. To some, it may be obvious. To some, it may not. Because the Lord, he said, the Lord, right, to stick because he told you this was your person.
Yeah.
First of all, let's just praise and
Yeah.
thank God that you're still here, Vinique. My goodness. 2 heart attacks, 2 strokes, and everything in between, under anesthesia multiple times, surgeries, and you're still
Yes.
here. Exactly, Sandra. But God. Like, but God. I see you
Yeah.
losing weight
And
online. I see you taking care of yourself, feeling better, got your locks going now. Like you really are. So I want to ask you guys this. So, of course, people have been creating their own vows. Right? In marriages, you have a piece of it where some want the traditional vows in sickness and in health, and some want to create their own vows. What do you think about personalizing the vows to reflect what the people are going through? Or do you think that, and this is just your opinion, do you think that people should implement um the vows that make you stick and stay? Do you think that people should have their personalized vows and the traditional vows, or somehow? Because sometimes people will remix their vows and not in a positive way. You can remix your vows in a positive way where you're putting God in the center, and it could be based right off the traditional vows. You can remix it in that way to personalize you. Or you can remix it in the opposite way where you're taken out in sickness and in health and richer and poorer. What do you guys think?
I believe it should be your own personal because it comes from your heart. It
Mm-hmm.
comes, it's with how you feel. Traditional is what's man-made. It's written down. It's in the Bible. It's written in the books that the pastors have. So that's man-made. So when you do your vows, it should be something from your heart, something how you feel towards that person, or what
Mm-hmm.
your feelings are towards that person, or how they feel towards you. Like when we got married, if I remember correctly, my brother-in-law was so excited that we skipped that whole section, and it was like it was raining outside. It was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I was like,
So you
this is what
skipped in
happened. I don't
sickness
care
and in
what's
health?
going on.
Wait, you
So
skipped it in
it was
sickness and
kind
in
of
health?
it was like his own words
But
twined in for a sickness and in health.
but yeah, he
Got
did
it.
say in sickness and in health. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
James,
it
did you
was
realize it was going to be that much sickness when he said in sickness and health, or you already knew because you came in the door with the sick when she was sick?
I was not aware.
You said you were not
so
aware.
you
I wasn't aware, but God had prepared me, and I
Mm,
was ready.
mm.
And I was yeah.
So
I
James,
was
let me
ready
ask you
because if
this.
anybody else, they would probably ran away.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So let me ask you this. Just to because some people run when people are hurting and sickness, it's too much. And not that they don't want to be there for the person, but it's too much to bear. Because you had to get the emergency,
Mhm,
calls. Your wife had 2 heart attacks, right? 2 strokes. Like what goes through
mhm,
that's stressful. Just
mhm,
what that does to your mind, and that being your wife, and your mind is all over the place. I can only imagine. So, what is that like to be the husband, right? When she is ill like that multiple times, like she survived. We gotta just pray. We need a praise break for real. Because if I had owned the rights to the music, I'd be playing some worship music right now because we need a praise break. Only God can do it. Do. Come on.
mhm.
Two,
Yes.
where my
And
tambourine?
it's funny
Because we're
it's
not
funny you
even
should
talking
say
about
that
the
because
surgeries.
mhm.
Wait a minute. We're not even talking about the surgeries. We're talking about, let's just take off the surgeries off the table. And we're talking 2 heart attacks and let's just stay there. It's much more. But James, 2 heart attacks and 2 strokes. Your wife, you get the call. What is that like?
And he didn't even get the call. He actually took me to the hospital. I actually had the
Lord
heart
have
attack
mercy.
in front of him.
Lord have
Yeah.
mercy.
The first one I thought it was indigestion because we just finished eating fried fish and French fries, everything fried. So we just had fried food. So I was having indigestion real bad, and I kept trying to stretch it and move it. And I said, "Baby, this crap hurt." I said, "It ain't moving." He said, "You need to go to the hospital." I said, "No, I ain't going to nobody's hospital. I'm sick of hospitals. They don't get on my nerves." I'm literally like debating. And he
Is
said,
this the
"Baby,
first heart
we getting
attack?
up out
Is
of
this the
here."
first heart
The
attack?
first one. The
Okay,
first
go
one.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
And he said, "No, we're going to go." And they took me to Southern Maryland, and they told me I was 75% blocked.
Mm.
If I had waited a few more seconds, that would have been the end of that. The second one, they said, was a massive, could have taken me out if I had waited a few more seconds. I was 100% blocked on the second one. But God. And both
And
times
he was
I was in the
there.
house with him. He was there.
So let me talk to your husband, James. So what is that like? You eating fish, you having a fish fry at the house, you got some French fries, you having a mighty good time. And then it goes left where Vinique is like, wait a minute, I'm trying to stretch it out. Something is wrong. When you tell her we need to go to the hospital, and she's like, no, what's going through your mind?
It's like I couldn't blink because if I noticed something, uh, with her body movements and things, and you trying to stress something out, and if it's like up here, like indigestion, it's like uh, you know, the pain is moving from one point to another. It's like instantly you think it's something that you can't do, and you just have to, you just as you thinking, you praying, and the decision said your best bet is to take her to the hospital. I said, okay, no more questions, let's just go. And that's how that went. Until she tells you what the second one is, up to you.
The second one wasn't in the chest, it was in my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like a muscle spasm.
My God.
And I'm literally stretching my arm, like I'm exercising, stretching my arm to the left, to the right, pulling it like, okay, this is really hurting. I don't know. I said, "Baby, this is not a heart attack." He said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Because it's not in my chest." Not thinking everybody's heart attacks are different. All heart attacks. Now I'm researched it now. All heart attacks are different. You can feel it any kind of way. And I said, "Okay, God,
Wait, you had a
this
heart
hurt
attack in your shoulder?
in my shoulder." It was literally in my shoulder. It felt like a muscle spasm. So I'm stretching it, thinking, and it's in the exact same arm. I'm stretching it, thinking it's a muscle spasm. I'm telling him I'm not going nowhere. This ain't no heart attack. This ain't in my chest. It's in my shoulder. I'm okay. He said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." So then I called my parents, and my dad said, "I need you to stop playing, young lady. I need you to get up in there." And I'm like, "Dad, I'm fine. I'm gonna sleep this off. I'm gonna be all right." They was like, "Okay, well, you know what? No, you're going to go in." So they forced my husband to call the ambulance. They said, "No, she needs to sit up, and you're going to call the ambulance while we're on the phone, and you're going to get her out of here."
Yep.
And who were you
When the
talking to?
EMT
Who were you
people got to the
talking to at
house,
that time?
my parents. I was talking to my
Mm.
parents. I had called my parents, and the EMT came. I got dressed. I went outside because we was in the house in Fort Washington. I got dressed, went outside because I didn't want to bother nobody else in the house. And the guy hooked me to the machines, and he said he thought he was crazy because he said I was having one as he was talking to me. I was having another heart attack as he was talking to me. Grady, take me into the ambulance. I was having another one. And
So
he thought
James, look, James is let me just pause. Look, James is wiping his eyes right now.
Mhm.
Tell me what that's about.
It. Only thing I can say is like, Lord, not again. So as the ambulance pulled off, I said, God be my guide. I put on my GPS, and it's like I got to I got to the emergency room before the ambulance did, and I'm like, okay, where they at? Only thing I can see is the ambulance coming up the hill, and I was like, Lord, oh my goodness. Okay, so um, yeah, I saw her pull out, and she like, "Hi, baby." I was like, "Don't you hey baby me? You get in there and let them do their work." So we went to registration, and I waited until they hooked her up on the monitors and everything, and I went back there. As I was going back there, I started praying. You got us here. Now it's in your hands, and that was it.
So that was the second heart attack.
Yep.
And I could see James reliving it now. Bless his soul. He's wiping his eyes. When you see him crying, Vinique, about, your health challenges and,
Hmm.
witnessing you having 2 heart attacks, 2 strokes. God is a mighty God. I
Yeah.
can't say that enough. And I'm looking at James's face. He's breaking my heart. Like, what is that?
I'm
Bless his
sorry.
heart. He's reading. No, you don't have to apologize for tears. Absolutely not. Not over here. Mm-mm. What's that? How do you feel, Vinique, when you see him crying, reliving, you had heart attacks right in front of him and him thinking he's going to lose you? Bless your heart, James. My
It
God.
it does it.
Ooh, he
People
about to
don't
make
realize
me.
it does something to you because when you have someone as strong as this man right here, it makes you thank God that things happened the way they did. Not far as the heart attack, but far as us getting together and becoming one.
Hmm.
And for us putting all the other stuff, the he say, she say stuff and everything else that got us to this point, have pushed it to the side and have
Mm-hmm.
become one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even James has flatlined.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. When I tell you y'all are miracles right there, and James, hug James for me. Hug James for me, Vinique.
Trying to knock my face off.
That because James, tell me what's going through your mind right now. And then we're going to get to his health challenges, but tell me what's going
Um,
going through your mind right now.
just it could have been the other way,
Mhm.
but I believe a God of second chances,
Mm,
and it's not just second, third, fourth.
mm,
Mhm.
Just ask for it, He'll give it to you.
Yep.
No matter what the circumstances. If you don't trust and believe in God, you ain't nothing. And I'm
mm,
telling you, he works wonders, miracles. If you don't know the signs, ask somebody about the signs because
Yeah.
he's there, and
He's waiting for you to reach out.
that's it. He's just a,
my
a
God,
prayer call away,
my
and
God, my God.
just he's there.
Turn your camera over just a little bit. Get the refrigerator out there. Just turn it over just a little bit so we can see both of you closer to you. But perfect. Okay.
I had to get some tissue and I had to move the computer so I can get
No,
to
that's
it.
perfect. So thank you, Juanita, for your super chat. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to donate a love donation, 99 cents, click the super chat. It's a heart with I said it thinks says thanks in it or the $sign. Donate 99 cents to the show. This is a labor of love promoting healthy relationships. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so very much. So you just knowing that she could not be here, that's what brings you to tears, knowing that she could have passed with those heart attacks and the strokes, but she's still
Yep,
here.
yep.
God is amazing. God is amazing. James gonna have me in here crying. So we talk about Vinique's, huh?
Stop apologizing. I was
What are you
getting on him because you told him
apologizing
stop
for?
apologizing.
What's he
That's
apologizing
James.
for?
That's just James. That's James.
James, you don't need to apologize for sharing your emotions and your tears. What that look like? Because I think it's important to see a man emote and to see a man cry, right? That's your wife, right? If you weren't emotional with watching her have heart attacks and strokes and she lost her life, if you were on there with the stone face and now I would think something is wrong. Because you got feelings, emotions too, and you're carrying that weight because that is. So when you think about Vinique back then, you didn't want to date him because he was a little person. You thought people would laugh and all of this other stuff. This man is 10 feet tall. The stuff that he's carrying. Oh, yeah. Y'all all lovey-dovey and whatnots. All right, so let's talk about. So we talked about Vinique and the relationship. He came in taking care of you, dealing with stomach surgery and stomach issues. He came in being of service, of aid, changing bandages and all that. And y'all weren't even married, right? So then you and it was a couple of things that happened, couple of surgeries before you were even married, and he was there. Did that give you any indication, James? You said because God told you that this was your wife. Did that scare you at all? Like, wait a minute, I'm not prepared right now to deal with this type of sickness. Did that scare you or make you hesitant to even want to walk down the aisle?
Not at all. I had no fear whatsoever.
Cried that whole day.
Yeah. I literally cried that whole day because of the fact that what she was going through and this, and not so much of the struggle that she was going to endure, but when it came to time to give her medicines, change her bandages, and just to be there, no one else could have did it. No one else did it. And
Robert says the complete vows were given. Without them, the marriage would not have been valid. I've been ordained for over 25 years, and the average 10 marriages a year. Know that they are properly married. Did Pastor Robert marry y'all?
Yes.
I know that's right. You better come on. Say this is your work. He's like this is my work right here. I know that's right. Come on, Pastor. He said, let me come in this chat. I know that's right. I know that's right. So, okay. So you already knew that this was your person. God told you to do this. So I want to talk about James, because social media, that although we're not comparing sicknesses and how many times, but I see Vinique sick or in the hospital bed often. And God has his hand on your life, honey, because you just keep pulling out left and right. You like it's getting worse. And sometimes you thought that you were going to be out of here. Like you thought you weren't going to make it. And then you rise up in that hospital bed. Y'all going to have me crying. Lord have mercy. Vinique. Oh my God. Jesus.
She's a fighter.
And you be in the hospital. Basine will call me. She'd be like, Vinique, we praying for Vinique again. I'm like, what happened? Then a couple days later, I see you in the hospital. Like, God is. I'm like, well, what happened? I inbox you. Well, what happened? And you still here.
Right.
The last stomach surgery. Well, the last stomach surgery I omitted this. The last stomach surgery could have wiped me out. I literally had got a severe blood infection. And they had to leave me wide open again in that same area, but wider. Literally, I had a smile this big in the bottom of my stomach. And I had to have a wound vac attached to my stomach to suck the infection out. So for something that was supposed to have been 6 weeks, ended up being 3 months.
My God.
So I told James, I said, no more surgeries. I can't do another surgery. I said, I know I needed to have it done, but no, I can't do another surgery. That I said, if God wants it to happen, that's fine. But me, myself, I can't do another surgery. because that last one could have taken me out of here, but God.
But God. But God.
I went into surgery in November. I didn't go back to work until after February
My God.
because I had got a huge infection in my blood that they had to suck it out.
Yeah. Wow. So when we went to, the last time I saw y'all, I'll be in, Lord, don't make me cry. Oof. The last time I saw y'all was at Joe's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got a chance to hug both of y'all. And I think the time before that was Joe's surprise birthday party. Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
We talking about
Yep.
life here. We're talking about life.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I saw y'all before the funeral was at his surprise birthday party. And then the next time I see you, we're at the funeral. So when you think about how delicate life is, right? And you going through, don't have me. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm trying to. I'm sorry. I don't even want to apologize either. But I'm
No,
trying
let
to
them flow.
wipe.
I would never
Yeah.
tell. Mm-mm. One thing I would never do is tell somebody stop crying. But I just think about how precious life is. I'm thinking about all of these surgery, everything that happened. Like, it's just I'm just speechless. I don't even know what to say for real. And that's the last time I saw y'all, and I got the chance to hug both of y'all. But around that time, I think James was just coming out the hospital, or James was just let's talk about that, because when we talk about the vows, we're talking about y'all in sickness and in health. That's what we're talking about, because that's real. When you marry someone, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to be down the road. And do you have the fortitude to stick and stay? Do you have the fortitude to be able to take care of your spouse if need be? Or are you going to start running from the hills? Do you have strength and the fortitude to know how to pray down to the ground? Because it ain't no knick-knack paddywhack prayers when somebody is fighting for their life. You know what I'm saying? Do you have that? You know, do you have a savior? What do you believe? Because that's when prayer goes into action, right? And we got to really think about that thing. So tell me about James. I know you were just getting better at the funeral. What was happening with you there? Because Vinique said you flatlined. I mean, this is a miracle. Miracle. Ugh. We should have changed this episode to remixing miracles or something. Because Jesus, don't laugh, Vinique.
Well, back in
I thought you was going to say back BC before Christ. I'm like, what you? Back in 19.
Back in the day when
Back in the day,
Lord have mercy, y'all.
way back when.
Okay.
April of last year. As a matter of fact, April 1st.
April 1st, exactly. Big year.
I had surgery on my neck due to spacing in my spine. September of the year before was when I went to the spinal surgeon, and they noticed that there was some gaps in between the spine.
Get that much space.
Yeah, they call it spacing. There was no fluid between certain vertebrates, and the doctor said it is pretty severe, and if I given it probably another month, I'll probably be in a wheelchair. So he said we have to get this done as soon as possible. So he talked to some doctors, and they came up with the date. They did the surgery.
No, they fought back first.
Yeah.
We had to wait a whole nother month because by us being in Maryland, him having Maryland insurance, the doctor was trying to do it in a district, but because he had Maryland Medicaid, you couldn't cross over the line to do that surgery.
Right.
So he had to find somebody in Maryland to do it. So we had to go through another whole doctor process for them to do it in Maryland. So that made another month.
So then you went and got the surgery, and so what happened? You flatlined. What happened? The surgery
during recovery.
Lord have mercy.
I had the brace on my neck, and it was on too tight.
It was on backwards.
Yeah, it was on backwards.
What in the world?
The nurse or whoever put it on him had it backwards, so it was choking him. So he flatlined because it was choking. It had his airway clogged.
Yeah.
My goodness.
They called cold blue.
I hadn't too long got there when they called the cold blue.
You literally flatlined. They called cold blue. So everybody knows what that means in your hospital. When they call cold blue, it's pretty much that you're gone.
Yeah. So the surgeon came in wondering what was going on, and he realized, who put this on him? This thing is on backwards. So he took it off, fixed it right, and it was okay since. But it was a moment just to see darkness.
Wait a minute. So you saw darkness?
Yeah.
So when people say that they usually say they saw white. They see white. But you saw darkness.
I just saw right, because I couldn't breathe in or out, and it's like I guess you could say I blacked out.
So Vinique, you're on the other side of that. You know, your whole relationship and marriage is James being there for you through sickness and in health, right? James being there for you through your surgeries, through heart attacks, through strokes, like being the pillar that you need, praying over you, packing wounds, calling, taking you to the hospital, being there. So what was it like when it flipped, where now you had to be with him in sickness and in health, and you had to take care of him? And what was that like to know that your husband literally passed in the hospital?
Well, when it flipped, there's people on here that testify on my behalf that they said, well, how are you going to get him from point A from point B when you ain't got a license? I said, I've done it before. So if he got to get where he got to go, guess what? I'm going to pray God and I'm going to get him where he got to go. So so Pastor said, no, baby girl, you're going to get that license. You're going to get that learner so you can take him where he got to go. We're going to do this legitly. So I said, okay. And I worked and I went and got my learners in Maryland. And I got my learners so I can take him where he needed to go because he couldn't drive no more.
Wait a minute. Hold up. You grown. Wait. You grown. Ain't have your license.
Oh, no, I had a license. I let it go.
I had a license. So your license expired. Okay, so it expired. But because you had to take your man, your husband to the hospital because he couldn't drive, that got you back on the road.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. I want to know what's going through James's mind because he's going through it right now. Yeah. He is going through it right now. He got his head leaning on the Frigidaire. Come on now, James. James.
So my in-laws are on here.
You know I'm not laughing at you. James know I ain't laughing at him. But I'm just, I'm looking at him and he's touching my soul, Vinique. He's touching my soul. You know that's my boy right there.
My husband is a big baby. And they call him that literally. They call him a big baby.
Now we don't be doing no male bashing on this show.
I'm not. Baby, am I lying?
Should I show that?
He has a hat that says Big Baby. That's what they call. That's his nickname. So I'm not male bashing him. That's what they call him. That's his stage name. They called him the Big Baby.
It's true.
It's
true.
So when I heard it, I was like, I said, where did they get that from? I said, they got you to a T, but how did they get that?
But I
So
think
it's a bowling thing that they did,
it's
and that's how
great
he
to
got that
see.
name.
But no, I think yeah, because we're talking about real stuff, right? And both of y'all
Hmm.
shedding tears because this is real. We can
Yeah.
talk about the realness of sickness and health and sickness, but we can also talk about the realness of God
Amen.
Yes.
and the mercy and favor and the grace. Like both of y'all should not be here. If we were looking at statistics, right? And we're looking at somebody's medical records and we're looking
Mhm.
at it, reading it, not knowing who you are, we would be like, they did what? Well, what happened?
You
Like
would
they should
definitely look
like
at mine like, how is she still standing?
Right.
so how was that for you to be there? I know you got your license, back and you wanted to be that support. What was that like to know that he flatlined? Like what was that like?
When he sent me that message, I said, "You did who? What? Huh? What? What?" I said, "I'm on my way," and I think we had the car then. And I got behind the wheel of the car and I went down to doctor's hospital. And by the time I got up to the room, he had come back and they had reversed the neck brace and stuff. And I told him, I said, they need not to do that again. I said, because that wasn't fair, it wasn't right. I said, but God saved you. You are here, and we're going to continue to do what He wants us to do. I said, because we both could have been out of here,
Mm-hmm. So how
but
has
God
that
has
shaped
us
and
here for a
defined
reason.
your Yes, and how I believe that. I know that to be true. How has this shaped your marriage?
It has actually made us stronger. It has made us tighter than when we were at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
To the point
Would you
where
say
I
the
don't.
same, James?
Mhm. Mhm.
If,
Yeah.
we both can walk out the door. I could be going just to the trash can. He'd be like, come here. And I'm like, what? He'd be like, give me a kiss before you walk out the door. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just going to the trash can. He'd be like, so?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. We laugh at it now, but at the time, I'm like, okay, baby, I'm not going nowhere. Well, come on. So we have to hug. We have to kiss. We have to say, I love you, all this stuff before we even go to the mailbox. Because we never know what's going to
I
happen.
can understand it. I can understand. I know y'all ain't going to bed mad. That I know for sure.
No.
Mhm.
Y'all probably don't even go to sleep. Y'all done said I love you. You okay? 50, 11 times. Y'all ain't go to sleep.
I'm gonna be honest.
You okay? You okay? You okay?
So I have
Y'all
sleep
like, you
apnea.
okay? You okay? You okay? You
But,
okay?
but
Y'all probably ask that.
we laughing now, but we both. I know. I found out a couple years ago, and I need to get the machine waiting for the doctors. But I have sleep apnea, so I may stop breathing in my sleep, and he'll jerk me. And I'm like, "What?" He'll be like, "Okay, I'm just making sure you're." I'm like, "Why did you do that?" He's like, "Because you stopped breathing." I'm like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
And now
Yeah.
that since he's had that surgery, his airway is really open. So he'll he has developed the sickness that I had of snoring. So now when he does, I go, okay, Leo, then who can go sleep first? Wait a minute, let me go to sleep first, because once you get started, I can't go to sleep. So give me some melatonin so I can go to bed, and then you go to sleep.
I
and
love it,
that's
but that's real.
that's how we do every night now.
Mm-hmm.
We check on each other before we go to bed, and then we were like, okay, who's going to sleep first? And then we'll go out.
I think that's awesome. Juanita, thank you so much for your $2 donation in that super chat. She just hit the heart with the $sign and thank you on there. I appreciate that so much, more than you know. Thank you so much. Because this is a show that's important. We have so many relationships out there. We've all been in unhealthy relationships, sometimes not even knowing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to be on here to do this is a labor of love to promote healthy relationships, especially in the Black community, and really putting God at the center, because it's so important, because relationships make the world go round when it comes to
Yeah.
romantic relationships, and how healthy your relationship is romantically, that is going to spread outwardly, right? And especially believers, and we're talking about God and God being the center. It's important to be able to have conversations like this that go viral, and not all of the foolishness and nonsense out there talking
Yeah.
about what kind of man or what kind of woman. And like you were saying, you didn't even want to date a little person because of society and what they would have thought. But do you see the
Mm-hmm.
blessing that you would have missed if you really looked
Man.
at his height?
Ooh, I don't even want to know what I would have been. Oh my God.
I'd be
Look, you
like,
5'6", and you laying on that 4'6" shoulder, just fine as just regular, just fine.
But yeah,
James, so let me
I
ask
don't know.
you. Just imagine if you would allow that blessing to go. Seriously.
I don't know where I would have been if I was to allow that to happen. And sometimes like when you go fishing, you know, you look for the big fish, but it's the fact that you tried, you caught something, but it's not what you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And and the blessing part about it is that you know it's what God gave me because
Yes.
I asked and I received, and I didn't turn away and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give it back. So
Yes.
yeah,
So let me ask you,
I still
James.
think.
Um,
Hmm.
that's that's so when you discovered that she felt when you were trying to pursue her, and she was like, I don't know, because this is real. There's going to be other little people watching, right? Or people may not
Hmm.
be little people, right? But something else
Right.
challenging about them, or what society says is not normal, or what society make turn their head down. It could be somebody with anything, right? Not just dwarfism.
Hmm.
So when you heard that she was like, I don't know about him because of that, and that was the only reason, not because you weren't a good man, not because you weren't a godly man, but because of that. She's probably not the only one that would judge that first, especially if they're unaware, right? Or if that hasn't been their experience.
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
have you gone through that in relationships before, and then what does that feel like? Because I really want to paint that picture so people can understand before they prejudge.
Oh yeah, I've been through it basically all my life, and
Mhm.
when I was a child in my childhood, it made me cry. But
Mhm.
as I got older, I began to understand who I am
Mhm.
inside,
Mhm.
and not worried about who I am outside because who I
Mhm.
am outside is protected by
Mhm.
God.
Mhm.
So when He gave me the resource to tell people about who I am, not what I am, but
Mhm.
who I'm going to be,
Mhm.
and 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 what there is to know.
Mhm.
So as I
Okay, Pastor.
as I got older, I explained to people, about my condition, which is normal and it's visible and it's it's a gene basically.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's not just me. There are other people that goes through this,
Mhm.
and
I got.
and they begin to understand. I said, just do
Mhm.
your own research, and you'll see more.
Mhm.
And like today, I said there's a thing called uh, Little People Big World. If
Mhm.
you
I used to
follow
watch
them,
it. I used to watch
oh
it.
my God! Now you see where I'm going,
I used to
and
watch it. Mhm.
it's like the generation how there's steps. It's it. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep saying I'm sorry. It's something that goes
Wait a
around.
minute. The life coach get ready to kick in. We're gonna stop that. You gonna stop saying you sorry for
Hmm.
your feelings and what's going on there's no sorry. If this is how you feel, And this is what you want to say. And if you want to express yourself through emotion, if you want to cry, that's your business, right?
Yeah.
You don't owe anybody apology for telling us what's in your heart. So we're going to work on that part, right? Because you are a beautiful soul, right? And you
Yeah.
are feeling your feelings, and you're talking about things that are painful. You're talking about trauma when it comes to childhood and your dwarfism. You're talking about your wife almost losing her life. Like, if you weren't emotional, something would be wrong. This is trauma. So you never have to apologize for your experience ever to anyone in any situation or platform. Okay, you can continue.
So yeah,
And you stop laughing, Vinique.
it feels good now. You know, I gotten older. I'm in my 50s,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care who says what about me because I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And when the younger generation asks me how do I get the way how I was developed the way I am, I tell them the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they be so amazed. And I tell them, you know, do your own research and you'll see
Mm-hmm.
yourself how
Mm-hmm.
amazing people are like me. Because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're
Mm-hmm.
mechanics, they're people
Mm-hmm.
that drive big trucks. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not your disability that gets you where you have to go, but it's your ability that
Mm.
gets you where you will be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have faith, even at the size of a mustard seed, you can conquer anything. That's
Yes.
what I tell them. We you know, words don't stop us. The size of things don't stop us.
Yes.
And you know, the grace of God gets us where we have to go.
I love that. And I love that you said it's not about your disability, it's about your ability. And I love that. Vinique, it may be he might not be too short. You just might be too tall, girl.
Oh, trust me, I've been with taller, so I'm not. Vinique,
Yes.
Wait a
Vinique, don't.
I'm
minute.
probably the shortest one he's been with.
No.
Dial that back. Wait, you're 5'6"
I only
and
part
he's
regular
4'6".
size people.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, James. What's the tallest woman you've been with? And no disrespect, Vinique, but I got to hear this.
6'8".
You got you had a woman 6'8".
Yes. Yeah.
What in the world? So you like tall women, clearly.
It doesn't matter the height, the size, or nothing.
Size of the heart.
Yeah.
Size of the heart. What do you want people to know about those vows, right? In sickness and in health, in richer for poorer, death do us part. Like, first, did you guys do personalized vows? I know you said it was kind of mixed in, but did you purposely leave anything out? And what would you tell someone about honoring those vows as we wind down?
Honoring those vows are they're very sacred because you're giving them before God. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
telling God that you're going to honor this person, you telling God and your family that you're going to be them through sickness and in health, you need to mean that.
Mm-hmm.
When things get
Mm-hmm.
tough, because they're going to be tough. There are not every marriage. I'm sorry, not every marriage. Marriages are not made to be peaches and cream.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They are hard work. They take dedication. And it takes a strong person to want to stick through when things get tough.
Mm-hmm.
If you are with that person from the ground up, when they start off with nothing, then you're going to be with them when they have everything. If you can
Mm-hmm.
stick through that rough time. Because James and I have been homeless together.
Yep.
Even before we got married. And during the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I remember when
So
you showed online, you got that apartment.
this is our
Praise
first
God.
place together.
Wow,
Literally
my
our
God.
first place together. We've had rooms, we've rented rooms from people and
Wow.
basement rooms from people, but never our own full apartment.
Wow.
So
What's that feel
when
like?
I had to it felt so good that I didn't have to hear rise and shine, it's time to get up. You can't eat this, you can't cook that. Whoo. When we could actually go into our own refrigerator, open it up, and see that we can pick whatever we want, and we can cook and leave the light on without worrying about electric, even though we got to pay electric, but we ain't got to worry about turn our light have been on too long. Well, we got to pay the bill, so we know how long we're keeping it
Wow.
on.
So people don't even know what you guys been through. You've been married for 6 years almost,
Yes.
but this is the first apartment that you guys had together.
Mhm.
You've been homeless together. You've dealt with
Mhm.
sickness and in health. You've dealt with the fire.
Yes.
You've dealt with the storms.
Mhm.
And both of you are not in the hospital right now. Both of you are sick. You're in your apartment. What does that say about your relationship? Like, what does that say about your marriage and the strength that you guys have together?
That is rooted in God.
Mhm.
That we have that foundation with God.
Mhm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have that triangle that we're down here, but God is at the top.
Yes.
He
Yes.
So He's holding us together.
Yes.
he has us in four walls. He's
Okay.
surrounding us.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the fort of God,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and He's protecting our fort.
Wow. And if your story enough is not encouraging someone out there right now, but somebody is married right now, they're going through the sickness and health. They may be homeless. They may be getting ready to get evicted, foreclosed on, right? It's pulling their marriage apart because of everything, all the trials that they're going through. What are some encouraging words you would give to that couple to stick and stay just a little bit longer?
Trouble don't last always. Trouble doesn't last always. Yes, I agree with you, Bobby. That
What
whatever
you
God
say?
has put together, let no man tear apart.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I can say this and actually mean it. Uh, my first one, I know it wasn't. It was me. It was all us. There was no
Mhm.
God nowhere. There was
What
no God
in your
nowhere.
previous marriages?
Yes,
That's
the
real.
first one. The first one,
Mhm.
there was no God in it at all. It was
Mhm.
us.
Mhm.
The second one, there was God, but we were playing stuff. We were
Mm.
playing church. We were playing this. At least I can say I was. I can't speak for him. I can say I was playing church.
Mm.
I can't speak for nobody else. I can say for me, I was
Mm.
playing church.
Mm.
I don't want nobody to mix my words up. I was playing church.
Mhm.
I was rattling the fence because I didn't know where I wanted to go. But now I have God in the forefront. I know who God is calling me to be,
Mhm.
and I'm walking in. My life has changed.
Mhm.
Wow.
I'm not the same old Vinique I was in 2018. I'm not the same
Mhm.
old Vinique I was in 2008. Heck, I'm not even the
Mhm.
same person I was in 2009. Well, sorry, 2099. I'm sorry,
Come
2099.
on.
1999. I'm not the same person.
Mhm.
God has grown me. So
Mhm.
I'm telling whoever's listening that if you are going through something, God will make a way out of no way.
Mhm.
Just look to God or look to whoever your higher power is. Whatever your higher power is, look to that, look to your higher power because there will be light at the end of that tunnel.
Mhm.
There's going to be light at the end of that tunnel.
And if you praying,
Like.
don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Continue. Your prayer will be answered because regardless what you say, God is always listening.
Mhm.
He's never ever too busy, and He's
Mm-hmm.
always there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because he make whatever you're going through. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make
Mhm.
it better.
Mhm.
Yes.
Just trust in him.
Trust
Depend
in
on him. Lean on him. Cause just be encouraged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because when you got with me, I wasn't working nowhere.
Mm-mm.
I wasn't bringing nothing to the table, but maybe some
Nothing.
food stamps.
Woo! Lord have mercy. You about to take this to a
A
whole
plastic
nother. Let me get that because we all touch on that. Let me see, Pastor Robert, can Delanice bless the Lord for you. May God continue to strengthen you in that He's called you to do. Thank you so much. Amen. James and Vinique, remember that God has joined you and He will sustain. Amen. Thank you
Amen.
so much for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, big
Because
brother.
I do this like I don't get paid to do this, right? I do this from my heart. I do this
This is
because
your
you,
ministry.
whew, child.
It's your ministry. I've been following you. It's your ministry.
Mm, hmm. We all just gonna be
Yeah.
crying on this episode. That's what we all just gonna do. We all just gonna be crying. I want to say something. We ending the show. I promise y'all. But you can't just say. We might have to have you back for part two because you can't just say what you just said. You said when you met him because everybody is talking. If you go online, right, and you Google relationships or go to Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. They're saying, "What are you bringing to the table? What do you bring to the table?" You said when you met this man, you know how bold and how honest that is. That's real. You said when you met this man, you weren't bringing nothing to the table. You didn't have a job. Then like,
I was sick then, so
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a part two because I think that that's powerful. You said when you met him, you weren't bringing. If you guys want to hear part two from Vinique and James, definitely put it in the comments because we're gonna talk about that. Because James could have looked at her and said, "You're not bringing nothing to the table, right? You have no job. You're sick. You ain't really bringing God all the way in fully." But God still told me you are the woman for me. Think about that. How
mm,
obedient he had
yeah.
to be because if his fleshly way was like, this woman ain't got bringing nothing to the table, she ain't got no job. Like you said, you were
Mm-hmm.
on food stamp. You said you were sick. You know what I'm saying? And he still
He's
said, but that's
recruiting
my wife. So we're going to talk about that. If y'all want to hear part two from James and Vinique, it just went off. If you want to hear from James and Vinique, definitely for part two. All right, guys, tell
There you go.
people about. Hmm? What'd you say?
I
This
didn't
is
say nothing.
all right. So all
I didn't
right.
say
So
anything.
so who do you want to shout out? Who do you want to say thanks to? I see the pastor here that married you. You have Juanita in the comments. You have Sandra in the comments. You
Mama
have people
Bowman,
listening.
love you. Thank you for coming in. Bobby, thank you for coming in. That's my brother-in-law. Juanita's my sister-in-law. I thank you both for this man right here because you all made him the person. Besides God, you all made him the person he is because y'all let him know that his disability wasn't his disability; it was his ability, and y'all made sure that everything he needed to do, he got it done. Being the person that he is, being at the height that he is, you all made sure that he did everything. If it was to go in the cabinet, he knew how to get into the cabinet. To clean up, to wash and stuff. He knows how to do all that. And because of you all and your parents, y'all made sure that he got everything done he needed to be the man that he is. And I thank you all for being strong individuals to show him what it is to be a man and be a person.
Wow. Wow. James, you have any words for anybody as we end? That was powerful.
Yeah, the cat got my tongue on that one.
No, but
I think
that's
it was
real.
funny.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to tell, right? People forget sometimes to tell their spouse or significant other, how valuable they are and what they mean to them. And unfortunately, some people don't get a chance. It's too late. You flatline, you had heart attacks and strokes, you could have been out of here. So you guys changed that. Now you're not going to bed mad. You checking 3, 4, 5, 7 times, making sure that your partner is good because you saw the value of life, right?
Mhm.
Like we just said, we were at Joe's surprise birthday party,
Yeah.
right? And then the next time we saw each other, we had Joe's funeral.
Hmm.
So the value of life is precious, and we're going to continue to pray for our sister Basine. We're going to continue to
Yes.
lift her, and have God just wrap his arms around her, right? And anybody else who have lost a loved one or lost a spouse, as we're talking about remixing relationships, let's be mindful of them. And just even if you don't know them, Basine, say a prayer for her as she needs her strength to get through these next years of life. Y'all, I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all, Vinique, and I'm so glad that you wanted to come on here and to talk about this. We'll definitely have you all back to talk about. Maybe I'll have you in a panel to talk about that. Um, about when God says it's the person, it may not look like it's the person, right?
Hmm.
But being obedient in time, you will see that that is the person. And if we look at the exterior and the things that society says the person should have or what the
You'll miss
person
the
should
mark.
look like, say it again,
You'll miss that mark
you're
and
going to
your
miss the
blessing.
mark and your blessing. So we don't want nobody to miss their blessing over here. I'm a close out. I thank y'all for joining me on Remixing Relationships. All right. So as we discovered today, the vow in sickness and health encompasses more than just enduring physical ailments. It represents a pledge to support our partner through all life's challenges. By openly communicating and adapting our commitments, we can strengthen our bonds and foster deeper connections, as Vinique and James said. Thank you for joining me on this insightful and this real, honest conversation with their journey of love. If today's discussion resonated with you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, y'all. Share this episode and leave a review. And if you feel compelled to donate, again, Juanita, thank you so very much. You can if you're watching on YouTube, hit the heart. It says super chat or thanks, or it's a $sign in there. You can donate as little as 99 cents. And if you're watching on Facebook, you can hit the shooting star. But if you guys, if you've been compelled, please do so. Please subscribe and share this out, as well as leave a review on the show. All right, your feedback fuels our mission to remix and rejuvenate relationships everywhere, right? Until next time, take care, continue nurturing your bonds, and know that it's never too late to remix your life or love at any stage, age, phase. Keep God in the center of your life, y'all. All right, God bless y'all.
God bless
Thank
you.
you.
Love you
Thank you.
all.
Y'all
God bless you.
survived. Y'all survived.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen to life. All right.
Have a
Yes.
good one.
Thank y'all, everybody, for watching. Until next time, God bless y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you.